Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And I hope you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are out there in the world. There's a lot going on around digital assets at this point in time, and I feel as though, comparing this back to 2021, back in 2021, it was kind of like we were all sitting around and we're like, yeah, institutions will embrace crypto. Institutions are kind of here already, but it was never so obvious. It was never so, transparent like it is now. I mean, we literally have big players like BlackRock, telling us what they're doing, telling us how big they believe tokenization will be. And remember, like, these are the largest companies out there, so we have to take them seriously, right? But it's just so interesting. Like, at this point in time, I feel like anyone that's not seeing the real, goal here, they're missing out on a very large amount of opportunity. And I feel like they're kind of asleep at the wheel. You need to truly wake up and, see where we are headed in this space and just overall. But with that in mind, there was a recent post by Hedera. There's actually a major conference happening, and it's from the Tab Forum. We have Hedera is proud to be sponsoring this year's Digital Assets Connection Conference by Tab Forum next month, bringing together leading voices and projects in Web3 and beyond to further drive the global adoption of DLT. Now, this is not like a massive event where there's very large players tied to it, but it definitely is one that I am looking into because of the discussions there. So you can't afford to not be a part of this Discord. You need to join the free Discord down in the description below, as well as in the comments below right now, to get ahead of the rest of the market with 24/7, 365 access to information around crypto, including insights, trades, altcoin gems, you name it. You need to be a part of this Discord. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description below, as well as in the comments below, to join today. We have here Digital Assets Connection, building the bedrock for institutional adoption. Previously known as the Crypto Connection, in 2024, the Tab Forum Global DCA Digital Assets Connection Conference will evolve beyond its cryptocurrency roots into the broader thematic area of digital assets, and will focus on providing insights, perspectives, and dialogue around building a solid foundation or bedrock upon which a dynamic digital assets industry may thrive. Now, within this, we have a few discussions. One, AML, CFT, and DeFi, taxes and accounting for digital assets, current trading and exchange environments for CeFi and DeFi, and then also digital asset disclosures. Now, here's the full agenda. So we have the networking, stuff like that, whatever. The opening panels and also the opening keynote. We could see a few things around political and economic factors with the strongest impact on the industry in 2024. Then we also have the year of the stablecoins. So stablecoins have the unique opportunity to grow exponentially in 2024 due to their underlying utility. Panel will discuss how economic turbulence in emerging markets will be a contributing factor as firms look for safe harbor from volatility and the various stablecoin use cases that are expected to propel adoption. And we already know that back in 2022, for an example, in a bear market, stablecoin volumes reached $11 trillion. So I could just imagine where we're headed in terms of stablecoin adoption, growth, and also value exchange. I also think that this is why, as we do look at Hedera with their stablecoin studio, it's a must focus on. It's a huge deal. Now, also beyond that, we have market structure and all things trading related. And this is the intersection of both CeFi and DeFi. And we have 2023 was seen as a year of transition for the emergent asset class. Regulated marketplaces like Coinbase, Kraken, and even EDX persisted and are positioned for growth. Panelists will be drawn across institutional actors and will discuss further maturation of the crypto market towards institutional investors, increased interoperability across protocols and projects, and how the tailwinds of the spot Bitcoin ETF boost the digital markets. And this is going to be a 20-minute introduction of the aforementioned topics. Participants and will be allotted 20 minutes and a selection of 3 questions to guide discussion within the roundtable settings. Now, very interesting topic there, because I do think that we're kind of getting to the point where the ETFs from these institutional players, it's driving adoption, but it's also opening the door for a lot more endeavors to be taken by institutional players, like tokenization. We also have a few regulatory discussions on the bottom there in terms of the US and globally. MiCA is a huge deal. I mean, it's going to be It's going to be one of those things that really kind of rapidly evolve into almost every single other nation looking at regulations in a very big way, because MiCA is going to set the pace. I think that once we see MiCA go live at the end of this year, that's going to put everything else into overdrive in terms of like what the US does, what, you know, all these other nations like even the UK do. So I think that that's a big deal to focus on. Now, also outside of that, we have digital assets, taxes, and accounting and reporting, which again, it's not like too important to know. And then on the bottom, we still have the ETF's near and long-term implications. And this is where we see, like, while Bitcoin overall makes up roughly 1% of the more than $100 trillion global wealth and asset management markets, Bitcoin ETFs currently only account for a fraction of that 1%. That said, with the bridge between traditional finance and crypto now completed, a transformative growth phase of crypto is upon us, with substantial implications for crypto's future. Now, that's a big thing to focus on, is the 1% that Bitcoin's actually making up, which is that $100 trillion global wealth and asset management markets. It's a very big deal considering the fact that if we look at some recent posts regarding what Larry Fink has been putting out. So this one is from March 11th, actually. And this is Larry Fink bets tokenization will be 100 times bigger than Bitcoin. Okay, we're talking about well over $100 trillion. And if we look down here, we have a video, and this is Larry Fink talking about tokenization as the future of finance. Listen closely to this.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
So yeah, I mean, as we really look at this, right, it's not so much about what amount of money we're going after. I mean, yeah, we're going after pretty much every single thing that has a dollar amount tied to it. But think about what's happening right now, because everyone's thinking short term. Okay, they don't care about the long term in this market. Most people don't. But I do think that we should. I think that the long term is where most of the money will be made. But in the short term, you know, we're going to start to see a lot more players tap into tokenization because it's changing fundamentally everything that's happening. But why should we focus on the ETFs, right? Like, why are the ETFs a big deal? Well, it's because, just like you said, people are buying exposure to this market. The ETF demand shows us how much exposure and how much demand there is to get that exposure to crypto there really is. And there's a lot of it. Now, as we do look at tokenization, April 3rd of this year, central banks and BIS test tokenization to speed cross-border payments. Now, within this, if we scroll down to this, there was roughly about 400 members from 60 countries. Okay? These were the largest players you know. We're talking about massive central banks, major institutional names. I mean, this is this is what you need to focus on. You need to focus on what the largest players out there are doing right now. What are they focused on? What are they testing? What are they trialing? Tokenization is what they're trialing. Tokenization is what they're focused on. And this is where everything changes around the way that we invest, the way that we send money, the way that we receive money, because everything that we know of will be tokenized in some way, shape, or form. Now, as we look at that, right, like we look at the most efficient technology, because right now we are witnessing a major change. Just like Larry Fink said, like the bond market is undergoing a dramatic change right now. And as we look at the bond market, it's not just the bond market, it's everything. It's the everything market is changing. Meaning we're seeing the way that, you know, stocks and equities and Everything is changing. And it's all through tokenization. And that's why when we look at even Hedera, right, we're focused on RWA tokenization on Hedera and how efficient it is, and all of the big players tapped in already, and how large the market around Hedera already has grown to. And we are watching this in real time, and we're focused on this in real time because what is this doing for Hedera? What does this mean for Hedera? And what does this mean for Hbar holders in the short, mid, and even long term? Well, right now, if Hbar had the market cap of Ethereum, which is $450.9 billion, and if it had the market cap of Ethereum at its all-time high, you're looking at a return of roughly 116 to 150x return. Now, that's going off of what we have right now in circulating supply, but even if you did have 50 billion Hbar fully out there, these numbers are not going to change too much, and we're still under $1 trillion of market cap, even comparing both of these values. Now, what about Bitcoin, right? So this is Bitcoin. This is a 350, almost 2x. At its all-time high, you're talking about roughly $40, which is a 372x. Now, are we going to see these numbers? Are we going to see these valuations in the next, couple months, or in the next year, or 2 years, or 3 years? No, we're not. And that's just me being realistic with you guys. But these values could very well happen. They're not, I'm not looking at these values and saying, oh, that's impossible. No. Go look at Amazon. Look at how long it took Amazon to get to a $1 trillion, market cap. Go look at Apple. Go look at Microsoft. Go look at these companies. Because remember, you're investing into stock around these companies. You're owning a share of the company and what the company is doing. When you're investing into Hbar, when you're investing into XRP, when you're investing into any of these assets in this space, you're investing into the network. Remember what Hbar does, and remember the role that Hbar plays in the entire landscape of Hedera. It's a network fuel, it's a network protection. So when you look at the network and you're talking about how big this network technically is, and you look at tokenization as possibly being a $100 trillion asset class in itself, and then you think about what tokenization could actually, revolutionize, we're talking about real estate, a $300 trillion plus asset class in itself. Okay? Larry Fink was talking about securities. The DTCC settles $2.5 quadrillion per year in securities transactions. Imagine just 1% of that touching this market. So now when we look at Hbar and we're like, all right, well, there's no way that Hbar could be worth $50, just to throw a number out there, because of its market cap. Guys, we're talking about $1 trillion market cap. 99% of the space is nonsense. With regulations, with compliance, 99% of this market gets wiped out. That 1% that's left over in a $100 trillion asset class, I think that Hbar could very well reach $1.5 trillion in market cap at that stage. But how long do we have to wait for that to happen? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Nobody knows. Nobody will be able to tell you. But one thing that I can tell you is all the players that are tapped in with Hedera around tokenization. Arcix and the Hbar Foundation extend partnership for staking and real-world asset tokenization. This happened back in December, just recently, right? And this is all around the HTS service, and even the HTS service, they wanted to make sure that they have pretty much everything tapped in. And the use of Hedera is at the heart and soul of Arcix's tokenization activities. We know that Arcix is expanding rapidly. We know that Arcix has very large tokenization, plans. They're going to be very big. And I do believe that Hedera also will benefit greatly from that. So will Hbar. So will Hbar holders. And we also know that just recently, in May 21st, Arcix put out a full report talking about tokenization can unlock liquidity and efficiency for assets like funds and securities. Remember, securities are quadrillions of dollars, guys. They're massive. Trailblazers like Aberdeen and Arcix are leading the way by tokenizing RWAs on blockchains like Ethereum and Hedera. The future is frictionless. And talking about Aberdeen, yeah, October 6th, 2022, they joined the Hedera GC. Vision for Web3 and client-centric fund management. This is all around tokenization. Remember, they have 508 billion pounds tied to them. This was a massive move, and it gave us everything that we needed to know about where Hedera was set up, right? This was setting the stage for where Hedera plays their big role in tokenization. And then also, June 8th, 2023, Aberdeen tokenizes money market fund on Hedera with Arcix. These three are an absolute powerhouse around tokenization. Also, TradFi, asset manager, Aberdeen, crypto exchange, Arctic strive for pole position to race to tokenize. TradFi, back on December 2023, December 4th, 2023, they are ready to go all in on tokenization. They're already doing so. Again, it just goes to show you how much money is going to be disrupted by these big players. Those that are at the forefront of this now and have been at the forefront of this, they will reap the rewards, okay? And Hedera is perfectly positioned. And this is not even the end of it. You have other players like DPINs, for an example, like QuickPick in Africa. They're tapped in on tokenization. Like Hedera's technology is so crucial to tokenization. So when we think about how big this market could be over the course of the next couple years, think about how big Hedera and Hbar could very well become if Hedera's already tapped in on a lot of these big players, not to even mention the GC list around Hedera, which is completely stacked head to toe with big enterprise players that want to utilize Hedera, they want to utilize Hbar, and they already are. There's major financial giants on here. There's major retail giants on here, you name it. So the future right now around this space is so bright, and I truly believe that Hedera is at the head of the table, or at least has a significant seat at that table, where they will be a major leader in the evolution of not just finance as a whole, but also just this entire industry as a whole as well. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on, get some more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.